Hey guys, welcome back. It's Missy, and today I'm coming through with a new video in yellow to brighten your day, which is perfect because today we're going to talk about how to spot a manipulative person. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but my dog is munching in the background. So please excuse any excess noise. She doesn't know how to close her mouth. Table manners is not her forte. Let's get into today's video. So the reason why people manipulate is because that is how they learned how to get their way. That's how they learned to communicate. They did not learn how to healthily just ask for something. They don't know how to healthily communicate or also accept that they can't get their way. They think the only way is to manipulate people in order to make them the way that they want, in order to live the way they want, to get what they want. So manipulative people know how to detect weakness. They know the specific type of people that they want to go after. So that's highly sensitive people, that's empaths, that's codependents, that's people that really don't have a strong sense of self, and people that lack that self-love or lack the ability to say no or to stand up for themselves. So when they detect your weaknesses, they will then use those weaknesses against you, so that way they can convince you to do or say whatever they want. And they will continue to repeat this until you put a stop to it. Now, if you have recently got out of a narcissistic relationship, you grew up with a narcissist, you have any type of narcissist in your life, this is something that's a common fear, because of course you have that fear that you will deal with them again, that fear that you will wind up in another relationship with another manipulative or narcissistic type of person. This is something that's a common fear, like how do I spot a manipulative person? How do I spot these type of people? And it becomes fairly easy once you start to recognize these patterns, and it won't be so scary anymore because you have the knowledge and you have the trust for yourself. So the first thing, and the number one thing that I think is most important to be aware of, is that their actions never match their words. So pay attention. Manipulators are very good at saying the right things. In the very beginning, they're very good at making you feel comfortable because they want to get you to reveal as much information as possible. And they will say things to make themselves look good, but then their actions do not meet their words. So let's say, for instance, they say, I hate people that mistreat others, but then you go out to dinner with them and they're being nasty to the waiter. That doesn't make sense. There's a complete disconnect. So really pay attention to someone's actions over what they are telling you. So the minute that someone tells you something, you keep that in mind, and then you pay attention to exactly their actions based on the information they gave you. And the next thing, like I mentioned, they come off as this person that's very interested in what you have to say. Like I said, they say all the right things. They come off as caring and like they would be this really good friend, this really good partner, this really good boss. But the only reason why they're doing that is because they're gathering information that they can then use against you later. This is one of the trickier signs because most people want to be interested in your life if they genuinely want to connect with you. So you don't want to think that just because someone's acting interested in you, they're a manipulator. The thing that's different is the way they react if you don't want to reveal certain information. Let's say they're asking you a lot of personal questions and you don't feel comfortable answering those questions yet, and you give them very shallow answers. Watch how they react to that, or watch when you say, hey, I don't feel comfortable talking about that. If they keep trying to push it, or they come across as defensive or not understanding, that's your sign that they're potentially manipulative and they're just trying to gather information rather than genuinely being interested. Someone that's genuinely interested would say, okay, that's no problem, I understand. A manipulative person will not respect your answers or your boundaries. So pay attention to the way they react when you don't feel comfortable sharing things, or if you don't go deep with them right away, which kind of goes into the next thing. They move really quickly. That's always a huge red flag. So if you're starting to get to know someone romantically and you just met them and they're immediately like, oh, let's go on a vacation together, like that's too quick. Or someone that's trying to reveal too much information too quickly, or they are trying to get too much information out of you too quickly. That again, like I mentioned, is to gather that information to then use against you later and to see if you're a good candidate for someone that they can manipulate. The reason why they move fast is because they want to rush the process. They want to get to the point where you're already comfortable and you already trust them, so that way they can get to the point where they're getting what they want. There's that lack of genuine connection. They just only care about what you can offer to them. A major one: something does not feel right. So after you leave interactions with them, after you talk to them, you may feel like something's off. You maybe can't put your finger on it, but you feel uncomfortable, you feel unhappy, and that is because your intuition's trying to be like, hey, listen, there's, some red flags, they're doing some things, maybe it's not outright and they're not saying things that are obvious, but there's hidden intentions behind what this person's doing and saying, so pay attention. And this is the thing that a lot of people pass off, and they're like, well, I don't have any definite proof that something's wrong, so it's me maybe being afraid, or it's me, I'm the problem. So you never want to ignore that feeling. If you feel like something's off, something most likely is off, and you want to pay attention to that. But there's a difference between feeling like something's not right and being afraid. So you want to recognize when something feels off, because a lot of the times when you come back from being in an abusive relationship or being around abusive people, you will be very skeptical of nice people. So that fear will kick in and be like, oh, what if they are this person? So the thing is that you want to put the fear to the side and you want to think like, okay, do I feel uncomfortable around this person? If you feel uncomfortable, listen to that. Another major one, they will say things to question yourself and your reality, aka gaslighting. So they may twist the things you say, they may speak about half-truths, they may make you believe that you said or did something, because they want to make sure that you are not entirely sure of who you are and what your reality is, so it's much easier for them to do what they want with you. So let's say you have a conversation with them the other day and you told them, hey, I really don't appreciate when you yell at me, can you please stop yelling at me? And then all of a sudden they'll come around and say, oh, I guess we can't really hang out anymore because you told me that you don't like me. And you'll say, I never said that. And they'll say, yes, you did. Remember the other day when we were fighting, you told me that you didn't like me and that you didn't want to be around me. And they'll keep pursuing that narrative. And you'll say, did I say that? I don't remember saying that. And they'll do it over and over and over again. So it's to the point where you really are questioning your reality and you do not trust yourself on what you have to say. So if you are around someone and they are causing you to question yourself, question your reality, question the things you do and say, that is the huge key sign that you're around a manipulative person. Another thing, guilt trips. It's one of their favorite things to do. They will try to make you feel guilty for anything. They don't know how to ask for things. They only know how to guilt people into doing things. So they will try to make you feel like you're doing something wrong, or they'll try to make you feel bad in order to get what they want. So they'll say things like, well, if you really liked me, you would do this thing. Or they'll say things like, well, my ex wouldn't do this to me. Or my ex-best friend wouldn't do this to me. Just constantly guilting you into doing whatever they want. Another thing, they'll be passive aggressive. So instead of saying exactly what it is they're feeling, they'll do things like they'll take digs, or they'll say things with little hidden intents behind it. So it's always keeping you guessing what exactly is wrong. Instead of telling you, hey, I'm upset about X, Y, and Z, they will take little digs at you and be like, and say things like, well, if you didn't do this, this wouldn't happen. Or maybe they'll go and write a status about you on social media, doing little passive aggressive things to let you know that they're upset with you, but they don't have to deal with the consequence, or they don't have to look like the bad guy where they have to address the situation. They will say things to make you feel inadequate. They will say things to make you feel small and to belittle you. And that could come across as jokes, comments, or criticism. So whenever, let's say anytime you're trying to share something with them, they may put it down or they may make a joke out of you. In the beginning, they'll make it look like they're this very supportive person that really cares about you. But as you get to know them more, they will put you down more. They will make you feel unhappy. They will make little side comments that make you feel bad. And they will say things to make you feel less than them. So if you ever leave an interaction with someone and you feel bad and you're not entirely sure, because these are the times when they say little things, but it's not outright, they may come across as caring, just know that you are incorrect in the way that you're feeling. And this may be a sign that you're being manipulated. Remember, they want you to fit a certain narrative, so that way they can be the good guy, so that way they can manipulate you to be exactly who they want, so it's easier to get their way. They want to make you a person that doesn't have their own identity, doesn't have their own thoughts and feelings. They want you to think exactly how they want. So these are all tools to cause you to do that. The next thing, they will always be the victim. This is a major thing. If you are around someone and they are never able to take responsibility or look at how they are wrong in a situation, and they are constantly the victim somehow, someone's constantly doing it to them, somehow everyone else is the bad guy, that's a major sign that you're dealing with a manipulator. That also is a sign that they cannot self-reflect and they cannot see where they go wrong. And so you want to watch out for those people. You know, something you could do is you could say, hey, how do you feel like you would handle the situation any differently? If they say no and they keep playing the victim narrative, then you know, like, okay, that's a manipulative person right there. They will put pressure on you to make decisions quickly. They are big bullies. They want things when they want it, and they don't really care what's going on in your life, and they may overwhelm you with facts or things of that nature to pressure you to make decisions, because that is how they can get you to make decisions based on what they want rather than what you want. And you can't change your mind if you're pressured. You feel that anxiety of, oh, I have to take care of this right away. So then when you're pressured into that decision, they can then guilt you, like, oh, well, you already said you would do this. So it's easy to manipulate you when they constantly put you under that pressure, under that stress, like you have to be doing something, like you have to do this thing. So someone may pressure you into signing a contract. Someone may pressure you to go on this certain trip. Someone may pressure you to do this certain thing, to lend you money. All of these things, they will pressure you to hang out. Whatever it is, be aware when someone's trying to constantly pressure you, so that way you know that is not someone that you want to deal with. Another way you can spot a manipulative person is when you tell them something wrong, the way they react to it. When you tell a manipulative person they did something wrong, they will not be able to take it in. They will deflect, they will get defensive. Now here's the thing, a lot of the times when people hear things are wrong with them, they'll get defensive. So I don't think that's always entirely a sure sign, but it can possibly be one, as well as other things like deflecting, pointing out what you're doing wrong, projecting, and also, let's say that they say that they understand and they'll change and then they don't at all, or they continuously to do that thing that bothers you. That is a sure sign of someone that can't self-reflect, can't empathize, and is just manipulating you to paint a certain narrative, but they don't really care to change. So pay attention to how people take it when you're sharing how you're feeling and when you're expressing things. Notice if they change that or they continue to do the same thing. When it comes to manipulation, a lot of the things are very subtle, so it's hard to notice, but you will feel like something's off and you can't quite put your finger on it. Manipulative people exist, but it's not something to be scared of. Because when you recognize these people and you are aware of what you want and what you deserve, it won't be so scary to deal with them, because you could spot it and say, I recognize that person. I reckon that's a manipulative person. I know that I don't want to mess around with them. I've been down that road. You have the knowledge. You know exactly what it is that you're looking for and who you want to be around, and that's what's important. What do you guys think? What are some other signs that you're dealing with a manipulative person? Leave it all in the comments below. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with someone that you think may need it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye guys. Hey guys, welcome back. I don't like that one. Come off as this. What do you want? You want to sit on my lap? Oh, that's a bad example. What is a good example?